Your philosophy is the foundation of your entire existence, the invisible structure holding together every decision, every belief, and every outcome in your life. The way you interpret what happens to you determines whether you rise or crumble. Most people think circumstances shape them, but it's not the event that defines you, it's the meaning you attach to it. When your philosophy is rooted in purpose, pain becomes a teacher instead of a destroyer. Every loss becomes a lesson. Every delay becomes direction. You start to see that life isn't happening to you, it's happening for you. The reason so many people stay stuck is that they've accepted someone else's philosophy as their own. They've inherited thoughts from people who gave up too soon, and they've built their lives around borrowed limitations. You can't live a limitless life using a limited mindset. The thoughts you entertain determine the reality you experience. If you believe life is unfair, it will show you reasons to justify that belief. But if you believe life is full of divine possibilities, your eyes will start recognizing opportunities that were always there, waiting for your awareness to catch up. Your philosophy controls your focus, and your focus controls your future. Whatever you focus on expands, and whatever you ignore shrinks. People who constantly focus on fear and failure attract more of it, not because the world is against them, but because the mind magnifies what it repeatedly observes. Shift your focus toward growth, excellence, and gratitude, and the world begins to mirror those same qualities back to you. This is not just mindset, it's the principle of sowing and reaping in action. When your philosophy changes, your energy changes. You no longer respond to negativity with frustration, you respond with understanding. You begin to realize that other people's behavior is a reflection of their inner world, not yours. That awareness protects your peace. Instead of being reactive, you become reflective. Instead of matching chaos, you bring calm. That's the power of a solid inner philosophy. It gives you emotional authority over your environment. The most successful people are not the smartest, nor the luckiest. They are the ones with the most powerful philosophy about what's possible. They don't ask, can I do it? They ask, how can I do it? That small shift turns impossibility into strategy. When your philosophy supports your vision, even your failures become stepping stones. You stop doubting the process because you understand that every setback is just a setup for your next level. Philosophy gives you direction when circumstances try to confuse you. When you know what you stand for, no storm can knock you off course. You stop living by reaction and start living by design. You stop chasing validation and start creating value. You no longer seek approval from people who don't share your vision. You realize that purpose is personal, and not everyone is supposed to understand your path. When your philosophy is aligned with truth, you stop wasting time trying to convince people to see your worth. You understand that the light doesn't argue with the darkness. It simply shines. You begin to operate from conviction instead of confusion. Your identity becomes anchored in clarity, and your confidence becomes unshakable because it's built on understanding, not emotion. A strong philosophy helps you endure the process while trusting the promise. You stop needing things to happen immediately because you've learned that timing is divine. Delays no longer discourage you, they refine you. You become patient, not passive. You move forward with peace because your philosophy tells you that everything working against you is secretly working for you. Every great breakthrough starts with a thought that contradicts your current situation. Your philosophy gives you permission to think beyond your environment. It breaks the mental ceiling that has kept generations trapped in fear. When you change how you think, You change what you attract. You stop living in survival mode and start living in creation mode, building a future that reflects your renewed belief system. The shift doesn't happen overnight, but it begins the moment you decide to take control of your mind. When you start questioning your old assumptions, you awaken the power that's been dormant inside you. Life responds differently to a person who thinks differently. The more you refine your philosophy, the more you refine your reality, and soon everything around you begins to rise to match the level of your new understanding. Motivation is not a feeling you wait for, it's a force you generate. The greatest mistake people make is thinking they need to feel inspired before they can take action. In reality, the act of moving forward creates the very energy they're looking for. Action is the seed and motivation is the harvest. When you sit still, your energy stagnates, your thoughts spiral, and your confidence weakens. But the moment you start to move, even in small steps, momentum begins to build, and that momentum transforms hesitation into determination. The people who achieve the most are not those who always feel motivated, but those who move even when they don't. They understand that emotion follows motion. They've trained themselves to push through resistance instead of waiting for the perfect mood. Waiting for motivation is like waiting for the wind to blow before you lift your wings. You'll never take flight. When you start moving, something powerful happens. Your mind aligns with your actions, and your spirit starts to awaken to your potential. True motivation is built from discipline, not desire. Discipline is the bridge between intention and accomplishment. Every small act of consistency strengthens your internal drive. You begin to trust yourself more, and that self-trust becomes a source of motivation all by itself. You stop saying, "I can't," because your actions have already proven that you can. Motivation becomes less about getting hyped and more about staying committed to what you said you would do long after the feeling has faded. Every time you choose discipline over doubt, you're telling your future that you believe in it. Every time you push through discomfort, you're training your mind to serve your mission instead of your mood. You don't become unstoppable by feeling powerful. You become unstoppable by acting powerfully, even when you feel weak. That's the difference between people who dream and people who achieve. One waits for conditions to change. The other changes themselves to fit the conditions. Motivation is not a spark you chase, it's a fire you feed. You feed it with purpose, with clarity, with reminders of why you started in the first place. Without purpose, motivation will always fade. Purpose gives you a reason to rise when everything in you wants to rest. It reminds you that your work has meaning beyond the moment. Purpose transforms pain into power and setbacks into strategies. Once you have a strong why, no obstacle can outlast your determination. You must also guard your environment because motivation is contagious, both positively and negatively. The voices you listen to will either lift you higher or drain your energy. Surround yourself with people and messages that push you toward progress. You can't stay motivated if you live in a space filled with doubt and fear. Energy flows from association, and if you walk with people who complain, soon you'll find yourself complaining too. But if you walk with visionaries, you'll start to think like one. Motivation thrives where gratitude lives. When you learn to appreciate where you are, even as you strive for more, your spirit stays light and your energy stays strong. Gratitude keeps you connected to abundance, while comparison keeps you trapped in lack. You can't be motivated if you're constantly measuring yourself against others. The moment you shift your focus from competition to contribution, your motivation becomes pure and powerful. You begin to move because you want to serve, not just to succeed. When you're pursuing something meaningful, motivation will come and go like waves, but your commitment must remain like an anchor. There will be days when your strength feels low, when your path seems uncertain, but that's when true motivation is tested. Real motivation is not loud or flashy. It's quiet, steady, and relentless. It's the whisper that says, keep going, even when no one is watching. It's the invisible power that grows stronger every time you choose to continue. You can't control how you feel every day, but you can control how you respond. The most powerful people in the world have mastered the art of acting beyond their emotions. They understand that success is not built on how you feel in the moment, but on what you choose to do despite the moment. That's where transformation happens. Each small, consistent action rewires your belief system until motivation becomes your default state, not your occasional visitor. And so the process repeats. Action creates energy, energy fuels momentum, and momentum deepens belief. The more you move, the more alive you feel. The more alive you feel, the more unstoppable you become. You start to realize that motivation isn't something you find outside of yourself. It's something you unlock from within by refusing to stay still when life calls you to rise. Everyone has a fight inside them, but not everyone learns how to fight the right way. Life is a battleground, and every day you're in a fight for your focus, your peace, your purpose, and your destiny. Some people fight with fear, some with faith, some with anger, and some with wisdom. The key is not whether you fight, but how you fight. The battles you face are not meant to destroy you. They're designed to reveal what kind of fighter you truly are. You don't get stronger by avoiding conflict. You get stronger by learning how to win from within. The way you fight determines the quality of your victories. Many people fight emotionally, reacting to everything that challenges them. But emotion without strategy leads to exhaustion. A true warrior doesn't swing wildly at every obstacle. They move with intention. They understand that not every attack deserves a response, and not every distraction deserves attention. You conserve your energy for the battles that matter. You don't fight for validation, you fight for vision. You don't fight people, you fight patterns, habits, and fears that keep you from evolving. Fighting with faith is the highest form of power because faith gives you focus when fear tries to blind you. Faith allows you to see the outcome before the evidence. It tells you that victory is already secured, even if the battlefield looks chaotic. When you fight with faith, you're not operating from panic, you're operating from peace. You know that the outcome is not determined by what's against you, but by what's within you. Faith trains your heart to remain calm while your hands continue to work. Every fighter must understand the importance of endurance. The battle is not always won by the strongest or the fastest. It's won by the one who refuses to quit. Endurance is not about how much you can take. It's about how long you can keep going when taking feels like too much. It's about standing your ground when everything around you says to sit down. When you've been hit by disappointment, rejection, or failure, endurance is what helps you rise again and swing harder. Your mindset is your greatest weapon. If you think like a victim, you'll fight like one. But if you think like a victor, every battle becomes an opportunity to grow. The fighter with a clear mind always beats the one with only raw strength. The real war is not around you, it's inside your thoughts. You win the war of life by mastering the conversation in your head. When your inner voice speaks in belief, instead of doubt. Even your losses start turning into lessons that build your next victory. Discipline is the art of fighting with focus. You can't master your craft or your calling if you keep changing direction every time something feels difficult. A disciplined fighter knows that training is the battle before the battle. It's the unseen hours of preparation that create visible moments of triumph. When others rest, the disciplined fighter refines. When others complain, they commit. They understand that the greatest opponent isn't the one standing in front of them. It's the version of themselves that refuses to grow. You can't fight with power if you're carrying the weight of bitterness. Forgiveness is a fighting skill most people overlook. Carrying resentment weakens your spirit, clouds your judgment, and drains your energy. When you forgive, you free your hands to build instead of break. You release yourself from the emotional chains that keep you from moving forward. Forgiveness is not a sign of weakness. It's the strategy of warriors who refuse to be controlled by wounds. Every battle has a lesson, and every struggle carries a strategy. The question is, are you paying attention to what the fight is trying to teach you? The purpose of pressure is to expose potential. When life pushes you to your limit, it's not trying to defeat you, it's trying to develop you. The more intense the pressure, the greater the treasure being formed within you. Diamonds are created in darkness, under weight, and through heat. Your strength is being shaped the same way. Confidence in battle comes from preparation. You can't fight effectively if you've never studied your enemy or trained your reflexes. In life, your enemy may not be a person. It could be laziness, fear, procrastination, or doubt. Preparation gives you precision. It allows you to act instead of react. When you're prepared, you don't panic when the storm hits because you've already built your foundation. Preparation turns fear into focus and hesitation into habit. In every fight, you must remember that strength without strategy is chaos. Courage without wisdom is waste. You fight best when your purpose is clear and your actions are guided by understanding. The warrior who knows why they fight can endure almost any how. Your fight is not just about survival, it's about transformation. Every round you go through, every challenge you overcome, every doubt you destroy is turning you into the version of yourself that was always meant to win. Wisdom is the greatest advantage a person can possess because it turns experience, understanding, and information into transformation. Knowledge by itself is not enough. It fills the mind but does not shape the heart. Wisdom takes what you know and shows you when and how to apply it. It gives you discernment in moments when logic alone cannot guide you. Many people chase education, but few pursue enlightenment. Wisdom is not taught, it's caught through reflection, humility, and awareness. It grows in silence, matures through mistakes, and manifests through choices that honor truth. The pursuit of wisdom begins when you realize that you don't know everything. The greatest minds are not the ones who think they have all the answers, but the ones humble enough to keep asking better questions. Pride closes the door to growth, but humility opens it wide. Every situation, no matter how painful or confusing, carries a lesson that wisdom is waiting to reveal. When you stop seeing challenges as interruptions and start seeing them as instructions, your perspective expands and your decisions become more powerful. Wisdom refines your vision. It teaches you to look beyond the surface of things and understand the root of them. Most people react to symptoms, but wisdom deals with sources. It allows you to see that not all movement is progress and not all opportunities are divine. It saves you from wasting energy chasing what looks good but leads nowhere. Wisdom slows you down enough to recognize that patience is not weakness. It's strength under control. It allows you to wait for what's right instead of settling for what's available. One of the greatest signs of wisdom is the ability to listen more than you speak. People often talk themselves out of destiny because they are too busy trying to be heard instead of trying to understand. Listening opens the door for revelation. The wise know that silence is not emptiness, it's alignment. It's in the quiet moments that truth whispers. Wisdom teaches you that the louder the world becomes, the more valuable your stillness is. That stillness keeps you connected to clarity when confusion tries to rule your decisions. Wisdom is not only spiritual, it's strategic. It governs how you manage your time, your relationships, your energy, and your money. It helps you differentiate between activity and productivity. Without wisdom, you can be busy but not effective, active but not advancing. Wisdom keeps you from being reactive to life and helps you live intentionally. It reminds you that progress is not always visible. And sometimes the most powerful move you can make is to wait, observe, and prepare. True wisdom always protects your peace. It teaches you what to ignore, what to confront, and what to release. You stop engaging in arguments that drain your spirit because you understand that not every battle deserves your presence. You stop defending yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Wisdom helps you preserve your energy for building, not breaking. It turns your peace into your power. When you operate from wisdom, chaos loses its influence over your emotions. The wise understand the difference between knowing the path and walking it. Wisdom demands action. It's not just about having insight, it's about applying it with integrity. You can know what's right and still fail to do it if you lack discipline. Wisdom strengthens your ability to follow through. It aligns your intentions with your execution. It reminds you that success without character is collapse waiting to happen. Wisdom keeps your elevation grounded in principle so your blessings don't become burdens.